Hi, my name is Walton. I'm a professional boxing coach and also owner of an athletic development company called Constant Growth. We are located in Kingston. The business has been open now for just under 2 years. We've had a chance to train several athletes ranging from football players to basketball players to hockey players. We specialize in boxing. I've had a chance to train a national champion, a local boxer from Kingston who has now turned pro. I started my boxing coaching in Montreal 10 years ago, stayed in the field and just progressed and picked up a lot of different techniques from several different coaches. And we're going to work like just quick reaction. So I'm throwing one, you're throwing one. Okay. If you're one, you throw one.
My name's Dawe. I'm a professional mixed martial artist. I'm here training at Constant Growth. Just started here about a month and a half ago, but I've been competing professionally for over 3 years and training multiple arts, wrestling, Muay Thai, and Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, Sambo. So just in Kingston here, starting the boxing about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, right, left. As you might know, Montreal is a very big boxing city. We've come a long way in the sport, and I've decided to dedicate a lot of my time to the development of that sport in Canada particularly, and hopefully the rest of the world. We also do promotion. The company I own focuses on promoting boxing as well and distributing boxing equipment. We are currently working on a plan to fill up the K-Rock Center about 3-4 times a year with quality fighters, both from Canada and the States. As the laws have changed for mixed martial arts in Ontario, we also wish to include MMA fighters on those cards.
Training for mixed martial arts is a bit different than the other professional sports because there's so many other disciplines you have to kind of be good at. So I've been, you kind of have to mix, depending on what kind of fighter you want to be and what your strengths are, you want to cater your training towards that.
Well, I'll do something, we'll go through one.
Yeah.
And then coming right back with the hook.
Well, for me, mostly focuses on wrestling, and my striking is used to get set up takedowns or stop someone from taking me down. Obviously, you have to touch on your strength and conditioning. I work a lot of wrestling and counter submissions and stuff like that. I usually want to start off with, for myself at least, I start off with my strength and conditioning in the morning. Then afternoons work wrestling or striking, and then submissions and mix it up. And you kind of have to balance it out. So some days I'm doing my wrestling and Muay Thai, other days I'm doing my submissions and MMA. So it's 2 to 3 times a day, probably 3 hours. So it's pretty taxing. You want to keep an eye on what you're eating when you're not fighting, because it's pretty easy to blow up.
To stick to a diet, it's really just a health issue and a common sense issue. As you know, some people will tend to cheat, or if not cheat, basically not care about what they're eating.
Dieting and cutting weight is a huge part of mixed martial arts, as it is any combat sport, I think. For me, I walk around 155 and fight at 135, so I start tapering my diet out around a month out and try and get down to around 145 and cut the rest the day before in the sauna. Training for a fight, usually training camps last 12 to 15 weeks, training 2 or 3 times a day.
So here, just with less bouncers and walking a little bit. Okay, good step, put the chin down and go by. Now double up that combo, so it's 4 times. We have here constant growth, a very qualified and great strength and conditioning coach named Jacob Wasilewski. Depending on the time preparing to the fight, we will increase the volume for the strength and conditioning or reduce it according to the time as we approach fights. So for example, when we approach before a fight, we'll put a little bit more emphasis on the strength and conditioning. We'll balance it out as we get closer to the fight, and getting even closer to the fight again, we're going to increase the volume of the boxing drastically.
So an important thing if you're just starting out is to maintain straight punches, a lot of rotation, because all your power comes from your hips. If you're throwing arm punches, you're losing a lot of power, you're also leaving yourself open for counterattacks. So if you're going to just start out, you want to stay in your stance. If you're right-handed, you're going to keep your left foot forward. If I'm going to throw a right hand, which is my power punch in this stance, I want to make sure that I don't reach out like this, because if I keep my arm open, he's going to tag me with this. So straight punch, and your punch comes from your hips. You want it all the way through, rotate your fist over, and also turn the hip, and your toes are going to be facing where your fist is. So we're here, and the punch comes off, your cheekbones straight out.
What do you enjoy most about the sport?
What I enjoy most about it is that it's a very complete sport. It engages all types of abilities, a lot of reflexes, great conditioning. It's also a sport that requires enormous amounts of discipline. It's a sport that could really uplift your self-value and your self-respect, and also just your confidence.